Okay, Tuesday morning in the kingdom, and my voice. Oh, I got a cough. There, much better. All right. Okay, I'm a bad boy. Yes, I'm a bad boy, but I'll discuss that after the weather here. Okay, it woke up to minus 23, but feels like minus 33. That's lies. It's freaking cold out here. That wind is cold. Unreal. The dogs aren't even out here to greet me because they're smart. They're in where it's warm. And it is March, yes. And then on the yo-yo scale, lame ass minus 9 Fahrenheit, but feels like minus 27. That's a lot better. All right, I'm a bad boy. Yes, I got a letter from that, how would you say, social media thing. I got an email saying that I'm a bad boy. Yes, my comment had to be removed, and if I do it again, I'll get a strike against me. All I said was, I hope Sir Rodney gets a sunburn. But that is a Canadian expression saying, I'm jealous that he's sitting on the beach enjoying the sun while I'm out here freezing and getting frostbite on my nose. That's one of my outstanding features is my nose. Yes. Unreal. So that's what they think. That's what the world's coming to. That these computers with their artificial intelligence is censoring stuff, which is common for us Canadians to say. Yes, I hope Sir Rodney does get a sunburn, and then he can remember his good time sitting on the beach in Mexico, because his sunburn will be hurting while he flies back. And then when he arrives back in Winnipeg, yes, Winnipeg, not Winnipeg, when he arrives back, his sunburn will hurt so much in the cold. It'll be unreal. Trust me, I did it. I did it for 2 years, chasing a love interest in Florida. And there's numerous times I came back with a sunburn and enjoyed the cold weather. That's the worst. It hurts so much, like a broken heart. All right, let's see if we can take the me phone out for a quick scroll around. There's the sun over there. Look at how high it is over here. Pretty soon we won't be able to see it because it'll be on the other side, And over here, I untangled the flags once already. Yes, just look at them. I can't even see them. There's a glare. And then over here, the wood stove had died out. So I had to use some accelerants and toss some fresh wood in to get it going again. All for the Swedish kid. Today will be an official shop day, hiding and staying warm. Unreal. And I chose to live up here after the divorce. Yes, the divorce. All right, let's get the me phone back in before it censors me. And here comes the boss. Okay, for today's video, we're going to do something different because we never started really filming till we got the, the Elon Musk dish Starlink, because we could actually upload videos and stuff like that. So we took lots of pictures because we had the website at the time, kingofobsolete.ca. We always had updates and we had the picture shows and stuff like that. So I think today, and I was thinking and consulting with Jack Daniels, there is no history of these cats. Basically, when we started filming, and basically 2022, I think it was, we started making the videos and stuff. That's when we started telling the stories. But unless you watch past videos, you don't know what's going on. So this is a TD-18 known as Blaine. He came from Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan. That's how he got his name, Blaine. He was original side boom track layer. So these track frames on the side were big and ugly and everything. We knew that. We bought it. It had a rebuilt motor and stuff. So we bought it knowing it's not a winter freighting cat. So we also bought a parts cat, and that's where these track frames came from. That was from Ego out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Okay, so I think we'll do a little slideshow, and I'll do the voiceover sober, if I can try. And that'll tell the story of these cats, or this cat especially. And then when people ask me about the cats, I can just refer back to the video link and stuff. Plus, when I'm dead and gone, the staff has a video history of these cats, because this was a track laying cat, and it's basically two cats put together, so with Ego's tracks and everything like that, and it is highly modified. It was highly modified as a track layer, pipeline cat. So you got this hole in the air here for the air cleaner, because there was controls and everything right up in here. Okay, so this is how they worked. The side boom, or whatever they called it, was all in here. So this all had to be replaced and everything like that. So we basically took two cats to make one, to make a winter freighting cat. Okay, so I'm not sure how the video will turn out, but if not, I can always improve and stuff like that. So Also, too, in 2017 is when we did all the work on the undercarriage and everything like that. This motor was rebuilt, and then it decided to crack a head, so we had to change out the head. Okay, so right here, that's why there's those green. Those ones are green. I remember them well because this is the second cat those green heads have been on. And we patched it back together in 2019, and it's still going. All right. I'm not sure if this one was featured on Ice Road Truckers when they filmed this in 2013. It could be the other one known as Dooley, okay? Because we made them look like the same as in Winter Freighting Cats. The best way to tell them apart is this one hasn't got the holes cut in the pads yet. Okay, that's what the plasma cutter will be doing, the Pro Point 30A Plus, but probably in the summer because you have to drive the cat ahead for each hole. Plus, Blaine has a skinny little stacks up here, okay? And then over here in 2019, that's why we cracked the head. It decided to start on, or how to say, it achieved the gas from the gas tank, okay? It was running on diesel, and I was working in the yard, and I didn't shut the gas off, and this thing took off. So what it was doing was siphoning the gas from the other side of the motor, where the gas tank is, and it went out of control. So it cost us a head there because we dropped a valve on it. So that was just a minor detail. So we took this gas side of the motor apart. There's a plate here where the carburetor used to go. But see, we're also running these new style starters, which I'll explain in the how would you say, talk along or chat along video. These starters here with the 1500 watt block heater gets the motor warm enough that it'll start on diesel, okay? And that's the same as the D69U cats. They don't have those little pup motors. You pull the rope and beat on it and everything like that to get them started. But also too, we have an ether injection or sniff hole right here. Okay, you don't sniff, how would you say, air or ether into the air cleaner because it's an oil bath. So we sniff it in the, how would you say, direct intake into the motor. So that works out very well. So these cats do start when it's cold and they do run. We have to get everything set, the valves, everything like that. So we're going to be working on it this way. And the thing is hopefully with the new thermostats, which go up in here. All right. Well, hopefully these things do get the motors to run warmer. Look what we did to the little cats, the TD6s and the TD9s, changed all the thermostats. Now they're running a lot better and not embarrassing on the videos when we make them. But these TD18s were pretty bad when they're cold, but when we pulled the sleighs or pulled the drags, they smoothed right out and everything was happy. All right, let's go make some more videos, or voiceover videos as we call it. Okay, the TD18 known as Blaine was purchased knowing that the gas side of the motor didn't work, so the farmer used this PTO on the farm tractor to get it started. So the farmer's ditch and the laneway became the loading ramp, which worked out pretty good for the cat to drive onto the trailer. So there's a southern truck with lots of chrome and everything to head to Manitoba, from Saskatchewan to Manitoba, and then they switched out to a true winter road truck that could take the so-called road from Thompson to WHO-ville. Yes, that's a bush truck. And then when it arrived in the kingdom, it looks pretty big beside the little cursive reverse TD6, but that was a nice load. So that's the first time I got to see the TD18 known as Blaine. He had lots of unique features, as you would say. So we used the D69U known as the hood to drag him off the trailer because we didn't have a farm tractor with a PTO to start the motor. And then the D6 just dragged the remains of the parts cat off, which was no big problem or big wow or anything. And then everybody else would figure this is scrap metal, but this is good parts when you live at the end of the world. So good TD18 parts. And then we stripped the cat down to make him a true winter freighting cat. Just torched off all the extra weight and everything like that. And while I was doing this, the semi-truck went south back to Winnipeg, Manitoba to pick up the parts cat known as Ego. And there's Ego loaded on the trailer with Kijiji. So that was quite a nice load we had. And then the trucker stopped and picked up some lumber to make it a paying load to the end of the world. So that was a good looking load, and he was even spotted on the highway. It looks like the rain clouds and everything in the background there, so that worked out good. You can't run and hide or do anything in the north and not get the mud on that truck and trailer and the cats. Unreal. But we had fun. Okay, we seem to be missing the film footage or the pictures from when we did the steering clutches and the transmission because there was no reverse in Blaine when he arrived. So now we jump to December 2013 to March 2014. We put the TD18 known as Blaine in the shop, and then we're using recycled material to build the windshield. We got to have a windshield because these are winter freighting cats,
And the bugs are bad up here at -40 below, so you have to have a windshield. So it's all scrap metal recycled, repurposed, and we filled in that hole in the hood. So that worked out pretty good. Plus we splashed a little black paint. And we also put a tail on. Yes, the tail. These cats have to have a tail in case they go swimming so they can be easily recovered. Also, too, we always put everything on pallets in the summer or the fall so we can find it in the winter, so that works out good. So we could get the drawbar hooked up. Yes, it was missing the drawbar. It was one of the minor details of the cat when we purchased it. And then we got to go out for a test drive, which works out pretty good, and we're very pleased with the way the thing is running. Blaine looked good, and you see the clearance under there for you can go snowshoeing through the deep snow, no problems. But Blaine was running good back then, and then motor fell apart on us, but that was like another 5 years later. But here we are out in our wilderness trails, the cat train trails just north of the kingdom here, and it was looking good that night. We had fun. And then we had it outside the shop there, so we know it's going to start when it's cold, so it's looking good. And these are the original starters that were kind of a gear reduction and they don't crank over very fast. So we upgraded to the new style starter, which is this one here. But we also have problems with the new style starter being of poor quality assembled in Mexico. So 20 starts later, the thing self-destructed on the inside and everything kind of ground itself up, but minor detail. Once we changed out the starter, we went to the south trails, okay, towards WHO-ville, and we're pulling the Z drag with the tires behind to make it nice and smooth so the staff can, travel on her skidoo fully loaded, so it works out pretty good. And this is a good test to these cats being able to pull the drag, and it gets the motor working good and hard. Now we're on the original cat train trails just north of the kingdom, and that's what we like. We enjoy being on the trail. And these lips. The Z drag was cutting good. That was before we made it into the double Z. And there's the Blaine parked with the other TD18 known as Dooley. So they're made to look the same. Okay, in the summer of 2017, we were bored. Yes, we were bored. So we stripped down the TD18 known as Ego because he was bought as a parts cat because his his crown and pinion were busted up pretty good. So this cat was very unique. It had lots of interesting welds on it. And I mean welds because it was bought for parts. But somebody back in the day could really weld with that nickel chrome alloy rod. That gives you that shiny stuff, but it does crack out. And it had these hydraulic track tighteners, which is kind of neat. It's very simple. Grease nipple at one end and just pump it up. So we had the Ego stripped down pretty good. And we're very pleased with the purchase of it because he had lots of good parts. When we really enjoyed all this excellent welding whoever did on this machine, like that is uphands welds they were doing. And that nickel alloy rod is not the easiest stuff to burn if you had an AC machine, but no idea. So that's the Hulk of the TD18 known as Ego. Yes. So then we have to get everything lined up and ready because we want the independent track frames and everything for the TD18 known as Blaine. So there's Blaine parked behind the track frames and everything like that. So now we're just going to pop the tracks and then make it simple. So now we have the tracks laid out and then Blaine can just drive forward on the tracks and everything like that. So having the advent of the mini hoe was just excellent because it was so handy back in 2017. We just purchased it and everything is going according to plan as we could, it's working out. Like this was a really big job and we got everything painted up before we assembled. Okay, with Ego being, I'm all confused here. Okay, with Blaine being a side boom cat, we are able to get the track frames off. You can see on the track frames here all the ugliness of being a side boom cat, so that's why we wanted to change it out. And that's where Ego came in. So using the mini hoe was very handy in getting the track frames to roll underneath, and we had to use lots of blocking and everything. So you can see the independent suspension or the big spring for the track frames. That's what we wanted on this cat. And at the end of the day, with lots of blockings, the dogs are helping out or whatever, but it was a long day, but we got the cat for track frames under, and look at how we had to block it. Because safety is everything up here, because we live at the end of the world, and it's a 3-hour plane ride to the south. So in the morning, we had to change out the sprockets. Yes, the sprockets. We had to go for better sprockets. And then you have to get the center section out. So that's a big job. But the mini hoe really paid off back in the day there. Yeah, 2017. And of course we splashed the paint everywhere before we assemble it one more time. It's going together pretty good. the mini hoe helping out, getting everything those track frames under. I don't know how I'd do it without the purchase of that machine. It's so handy. And then here's the tracks at the back. You block them up so the cat can't roll, because they will roll with a slight incline. And there we got the tracks up, so that's a good sign, as we say, because that was a lot of work. And of course, I'm a welder, so we did some uphand welds on the pins, because the odds of removing these pins are very slim. And then here's the slider for up and down for the independent suspension. We have to, remake it, fix it, and of course get all the broken bolts out. That's the joys of having a cat. And then we splash the paint on everything at the end so it looks good. So that's part of the track independent suspension. Okay, we started the fall of 2019 off with Bubbles in the Rad and TD18 known as Blaine. So we had to pop the cylinder head off, so that way means that the mini hoe was being used. Yes, unreal. So we cracked the cylinder head, which is common on these TD18s. I don't know if you can see in the picture here, but the cylinder walls showing all the water antifreeze in the cylinder walls there. So that's not good. So now I use my magic marker with the Photoshop thing. So I don't know if I got the right color of purple here or whatever color, but there's the crack in this between the valves, which is common on the TD18 heads. And we have a used head or whatever off of a motor I bought that's supposed to be up and running, but it was actually scrap metal. So it's a little pitted, so a little bit of gasket aviation maker goo, and we got that head back together. So we have to use the big torque wrench to tighten it down, because that's the only way to do it. You have big cats, you have big toys too, or tools, I mean. So at the end of the day, it was pouring rain when we got it up and running, so it's a little smoky on the front cylinders, but that's okay. At least we're up and running. So a little test drive that night on the security cameras in the kingdom show we were out having fun. And then the next day or whatever, we went for a little pull of the drill sloop, a nice weight to get it some, working that motor. So we always wanted to have 12-volt charging system on the TD18, so we whipped up this little apparatus here with a GM one-wire alternator using the standard belt that's on all the other cats, so one size fits all. It's a little funny looking, but it works. We have lots of charging system, so we're not driving the cat and then having to come back and charge the batteries like a new car or those electric cars. And there's a TD18 dually on the right-hand side with Blaine on the left-hand side. I think I got my sizes on the right side or whatever. I'm confused. Maybe this is a reverse picture. But that's the main thing. We're 2 winter freighting cats, and then the next day we started the Blaine up, and then that gas valve or the gas got sucked into the motor and burnt out the valve. So here we are that night popping the cylinder head off using the mini hoe once again. Unreal. So there's the valve circled with the gray paint marker. It burnt right off. That's that little starting valve on the cylinder head that gives you the lower compression for running on gas. So we just brazed the hole over and called it good. So that was 2019, and the cat's still running. So here we are that night, I think it was, or the next day, we're up and running with the cylinder head brazed together and up and running. So there's the 2 winter freighting cats looking good as usual. The big TD18 winter freighting cats. And there we are parked in a group, because 2019 was a bad year, and then we went into 2020 with the great lockdowns. Oh my.
Tuesday morning in WHO-ville, and it's just after 7:30 a.m. and as you can see, there's a bit of a sunrise, but it's mostly hidden behind the clouds. It is still pretty windy out here today, and it's actually really cold out. Now it's time to head inside, let the dogs out, make breakfast. Not sure if you can hear it in my voice, but yes, I am sick again. The joys of working at the school. Last week all the kids there were sick, and now this week I'm sick. 8:30, I'm just getting ready to head to work. It is still pretty chilly out and the wind's picking up again, but there's not many clouds in the sky and the sun is shining. It will be cold out today. I can see it now. It's time to head inside, let the dogs back in, and get to work. 12:30, I'm just finishing up lunch. Still not feeling the greatest, so I just had soup and a sandwich again today. Also subbing 3 and 4, which is pretty good. We're going to do some Easter stuff for arts and crafts. Now it's time to head inside, let the dogs back in, and get to work. Just after 4 p.m. and I made home from work. It was a pretty good day subbing the grade 3-4s. I did stop and do mail, and there was a few things in there that I'll open up in the kingdom. I already got the skidoo out. Now let's head on over and see what my dad's up to. 4:30 and I just made it to the kingdom. I have to take home this jerry can right here and fill it up tomorrow after school. Now I'm going to head inside and open up the boxes we got in the mail today. Just opened the first package and there was no name on it, but thank you so much. We got a new American flag to replace the small one on the tank, and we also got a new mug. This will be my dad's new coffee mug here. He did need a new one. His was looking pretty banged up, but wow, thank you so much. I wish there was a name so we could thank you. The second package is from Mark P. Thank you so much. We are going to have Kool-Aid for the next couple months or so. We are for sure stocked up now. Wow, there are so many flavors here. I finally got to try the lemonade one and I thought it was really good, but I think I'm going to have to try the blue raspberry lemonade. Thank you so much again. This is greatly appreciated. Wow. And the last package was from a Carol S. Thank you so much. I was not expecting this at all. Look at all these fancy seeds. I heard this was a really good company to order your seeds from, and I never got a chance to try it yet, but I'm sure I will. Once it warms up, I can start planting these, but wow, thank you so much. This is greatly appreciated. Almost 5 o'clock and we're officially done in the kingdom. It is way too windy and cold today, so we are not going to do anything. My dad's playing in the house on the computers and stuff and doing a few videos. Now I'll head on back into WHO-ville and do the weather. Just after 5 p.m. and I made home from the kingdom. Now it's time to put the skidoo away and then get a fire going and let the dogs out. 5:30 and I just got a fire going, threw in a couple toothpick trees and some core boxes, should get me going, and the house will be nice and warm soon. It's actually cold enough I can get a fire going. Now it's time to head upstairs and do the weather. Just after 5:30, and this is the temperature we're sitting at today. It's negative 18 degrees Celsius, which is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. We even have the feels like on the bottom. It's been pretty cold out today. With that wind, makes it even colder. Now it's time to head inside, let the dogs back in because I can hear them crying, make supper, and end my day.
Okay, no idea how that voiceover turned out or anything like that, but it's a thought that counts, and we're documenting the history and the repairs of the TD-18 known as Blaine and the donor cat known as Ego. Alright, it's too cold out here, so let's go walk the dogs, drink some beer, and make a video or finish the video, and we'll talk to you guys later.